Hey everyone, this is attempt two to make this video. I got sidetracked talking. I haven't even started making the mod yet because I was talking so much. Basically, where we're at here, we got a mod that it's not a jbeam that you load, it's a track asset, right? And the asset needs to load the texture, which it's not doing. And he wants to know if there's a way to make that asset load as a jbeam with a car, so that when part of it loads, it's stationary, it don't move, but it's got its texture. You don't have to fool with going to the asset browser and picking it and dragging it in, making sure texture's right, all that stuff. That when you load the mod in a zip, perhaps it just loads right in with the level. Assuming you saved the level with the car saved to the level, of course, which is easy to do. The only problem I can tell you now, the only problem with that I have not been able to solve, but have been giving a solution to solve it, but I don't understand the solution. I'm going to see if ChatGPT can clarify it for me. But it's not to have the thing spawn to all the trackside objects. Say I make 25 things on the side of the track, and you break them all because they're J-beams. They load like cars. Even though you can call them a prop, but really they're the same thing as a car. They're a J-beam. Props and J-beams, unless you're talking about the prop that's like for animated steering wheel and stuff, that's different. But it's still load a car, by the way. These, however, if you make like a bunch of bricks, or not bricks, let's say you make a bunch of fence posts on the side of the road and they all break. Every one of them is going to be a car. And when you go to tab between cars, it's going to tab through every single one of them. It would be great, and I know they know it too, it would be great if they made it so that that is optional to not cycle through. So for people who do like to make more destructible environments with various things and have traffic and other cars and stuff, they don't have to go through the nuisance of constantly tabbing between all these different things to get back to the car, only to accidentally skip it and have to go through the whole thing again. Or, I guess, find it in the scene tree and pick it. Maybe that's what people mostly do. But you still got to tab to it, right? You still got to physically switch the game focus to the other thing. And what the thing he shared me, I don't even know where I put it. I know where it's at. I just don't want to have to scroll through and get it right now. It's a long way back in the conversation. But it's the thing about focusing on the cars, and it's like a little script. I'm just not sure really where to put it to use it, if it's got to be a flow graph editor thing or if it's got to be somewhere else. So that's the only drawback to using mods like as cars as track objects, because it can be frustrating in that sense. But it's also good too, because you can make things and make them solid so that they do not move and they act just like a regular track object. Say for example the billboard I want to make that has a optional jump that you can jump through it. It's a ramp. The ramp would be optional, but it would be static. It doesn't move. It's just there. And the part that breaks, of course, moves. So that can be handled with the. This is one little line in there that says anchored, like the nodes. Are they anchored? Yes or no? If they're anchored, they ain't moving, but they can rotate on their own axis. That's the thing they can do. So let me get back to where I was at. Here's the vehicles. Here's the folder. I'm going to put that in the level and check it out. See what we got. Anytime you add something to your game, another object or something, if it's got its own main dot material, it can't be in there with another one as far as I understand it. You either have to combine that material with the one that's in there to put the mod in there with it, or it needs to be in its own little folder. And the next thing is the main dot materials. To make this thing work in anybody's, hey, that looks like that came from, I bet it did. I bet that came from Make Human 2.0. I got the same one. I could be wrong, but I got that. It looks very similar. Actually, here you go. This ain't Make Human. This is another thing that unwraps somebody's face. That's pretty damn scary looking, ain't it? But that's not the same as, well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's close. I'm curious now. It got me interested. So the texture has got to have no dependencies. No dependencies. No dependencies. As long as the thing has got the name of the material, it don't even need to have that, unless you got that in the PNG and DDS or JPEG, then you got to specify. But as long as you got the Sing my me body. Well, I can tell you right now a problem. You can't have a space in there, my friend. You got to have a bracket or something. I think. I won't say for sure. I'm about 80% sure on that. This got to go. If you want to put it in a different level, that's got to go. That's a problem. That's just more of a personal gripe there because I do that shit too, and I hate it. I hate that. I hate that with a passion when it does that. That came from Blender. I know it did. And you can get around that if you look into what they call like fake user. Look up fake user and how to avoid that. Chat GTP can guide you through it. I was going to do it, but I realized, man, that's a lot to damn. I don't want to read all that. I don't care that much. Well, only when I make the mistake, then I care. I don't know. I guess this thing is just eyebrows, the primary thing. We're going to load it in the Blender anyway and see, but we got to get that out of there. Or our game's going to be looking for it there. And since I don't work out of there, and you shouldn't either, you should work out of the user folder when you're making things because changes being saved go to the user folder and not the mod folder. If you ever make a map, and I know some of you are making maps, you might be listening to this, do not, there's another space, do not, and I'm very careful about special characters because I'm not sure which one beams use and not whatnot. But yeah, do not work out of the mod folder. And the reason being is because the work you're doing ain't being saved there. It's being saved in the user folder. You may be like, well, that's fine. It's in the user folder. It's only fine if you are only using it for yourself. If you want to share it with somebody else, they have to have the exact same setup as you where the files are located. The primary files for the level are located wherever they're located. And they have to have that augmented folder from the user folder, which is like an augmentation to the level. It basically contains only the changes you saved to that level. Say you load West Coast and you remove some buildings, you move the dirt around, the terrain around, you add a new road, you put a river in it. All that stuff, add new items, all that stuff gets saved to the user folder. It's also, like in the case of the terrain block, it's also in the install, or it's in the zip, or wherever you got the other part of it. That ain't getting changed. So you end up with two terrain block things and you try to combine that, for example, you ain't going to do it. It's not going to happen. You're going to end up sending somebody a level and they're going to load it and they ain't going to load nothing. Because half the stuff's in one place, half's in the other. Now, I didn't want to believe it myself at first until I talked to Rob Heritage, who's now in the dev team. He saw what I was doing and he said, man, that's very risky. Very risky. And it wasn't about a day later, I lost that level. Realized I did a lot of work for nothing. I had to start over. My friend Havoc NG did the same thing. I mean, it happens. It happens. People think mod, that's where you work on it, but it's not the best place. It can be done. I don't think levels can, but unless they're not going anywhere, of course. And they're only for you, then it's not a big deal. But I wouldn't get in the habit of it. I really wouldn't. It's just going to cause you grief. Ain't nothing worse than putting in a lot of time, making something really great. It works perfect. And then the damn thing, you end up losing it. You also want to be sure that you don't have any names that are similar. You definitely don't want material as a texture name. Like Blender automatically sets up. I think these will be fine. I'm not really looking. Bottom, dum, 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 dum. Bottom. Hey, I've done it too. I think this feller probably had about 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to get this one material to load. And I get it. I do the same thing, man. That'll keep it from adding that .00 crap to the end like Blender does, because you're basically remaking it every time in Blender with a new name. You'll also get this problem, by the way, in Blender. Let's go in there. That's where we got to go. Oh yeah, that's that model from yesterday. I was throwing in that level. I was working on a tutorial, and that didn't go well. I did save all that though. It's 3 hours long, all of that I did, and I got it uploaded. But I don't have the mod that I showed in the video set up to share yet, so I want to include that. I'm going to also time lapse that 3 hours. I don't think anybody wants to sit it through it. I sure wouldn't. But there may be someone who does want to need the extra slow moving, I may can fast forward just the parts I'm testing stuff and then leave the part that I'm building stuff. No, I'm not going to do that. That's going to take too long. I won't do that. No. I will fast forward it and just put both versions just to know you got either one to watch. And it's not a tutorial. I didn't do a tutorial. I just recorded what I did that day for 3 hours. And I thought maybe it'd be something somebody'd want to see because it's map related. And it's not that great, honestly. I didn't really like the outcome of yesterday's little project. But I was kind of getting prepared for another project coming up about a road in Romania. So I needed to kind of get my ducks in a row as far as level stuff goes and brush up on some things. And for the most part, it came out okay. I just tried to adjust the map of East Coast with new stuff on it. And I could have done better. I could have done a lot better. Oh, I know where I put it. I don't have this problem, by the way, when I'm not doing a tutorial. I just go right through and click, click, click. You don't understand how much of system resources doing these things cost me in my head. I'm not good at that. And it ain't something time can fix. I've been doing this 4 years now. I'm still just as bad about live streams as I was 4 years ago. Some people just ain't got it, They don't got it. Looks like an FBI agent out for a run. I don't even know why I clicked on that. Because I've got two things on my head at one time. Well, in here you don't have any texture or anything on it. It's just white. Now, I have said in the past, like, you can export stuff to the game and then add the texture in the game in some of my videos. You can do that. Let me load him in the game now and see what he looks like in there before I say anything else, because I want to be sure I don't tell you something wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Most recent wrong I was that you can't export anything from Blender that doesn't have the stuff right in the collection. That you couldn't have it in like FBX box or empties for the FBX related stuff and get it in the beam, and it's not true. You can. I did it and it worked right away. So wow, a lot of time I spent doing all that. But that's what this channel's for. Learn from my mistakes. Make it easier for you when you do it. That's the whole point. And it's fun. It's fun making this stuff. Sometimes it pisses you off. But, for the most part, I enjoy it. I was going to take a break. I really was, but I got some great sleep and rest. And you'd be surprised what a good night's rest can do. I just got off of here and just didn't get on here at all day. And it made a big difference. I didn't feel like I wasn't trying to compete with a timeline to get this stuff done anymore. It was at the point where it was like, okay, relax time. It's like when they delay a game, like they delay it till like the middle of summertime, and that date comes around and they still don't got the game ready, and they start crunching like crazy, and that's what I was doing more or less, putting all the hours I was putting into it, and then they just end up saying, you know what, we'll just put it off till next year, and then everybody's happy. You ain't got to crunch as much or as often. And that's what I'm basically doing now. I'm just saying, you'll get it Hawaiian time. If any of you are not familiar with Hawaiian time, that is, you'll get it when you get it. If you know Fluffy, the comedian, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Yeah, do a Aloha Hawaii. But Fluffy and Enrique, what's his name? Enrique Iglesias? Fluffy's a Madeline Nomads, but he's talking about a luau and how they're so different. Some of them there. Some of them you got a guide that's one way, and then the other one you got one that's another way. and he was talking about the one that's the one that just tells you how it is. Someone asked what time we get into the luau, and he says, we'll get there Hawaiian time. He said, what's that? You get there when you get there. So he's animating. Y'all see that? He's moving. Man, that's a creepy looking dude, man. Even though it's not the right material, that's kind of scary. You imagine seeing that in the hallway at night. You get up to go to the bathroom, and in the darkness, you see that in the corner. It's just sitting there like that. You don't know what he got in his hand there. And he's just calm as can be. Oh, yeah, that'd be scary there. You put that in a haunted house, put no material on his face, he'll look like Darth Maul, like that. We'll pull him up by picking him and go into the texture editor and tell it to pick from scene selection, which is, I don't have it picked. There we go. I don't like that. It turns it yellow. I hate that shit. I don't know how to turn that off other than unclick on it, but then you unclick on it. I don't like it because it's so overpowering you can't tell what it's doing, and it's cycling shades also. I don't like that a bit. I never had a problem seeing something on the screen. I always have a problem unclicking on it and then trying to reacquire it. To reacquire is a lot of work when you unclick on it and you got alpha transparencies around. You'll click on everything but what you're trying to click on. Just one of the things I would do differently if I could do it. But yeah. And this ain't right. I'm picking him. He's picked. I say from scene selection, and it's showing me my hood decal too, for that sign that's not selected. God knows where it's at right now. I guess that's it. No mesh. So there it goes. All right. So the bottom here is looking in mods unpacked hood. That's what I was just trying to tell y'all. You can't have a thing like that and load it in other people's things. So you probably loaded it at his house, and the reason why it's still in here is because it's still in here that way. You're going to the material for him, the hoodie. Or no, it was bottom. It was bottom. That was it. Well, there's nothing in here. It's done been erased or moved, but it's still printed inside the DAE itself. I don't think that or that's going to make any difference as far as beam. As far as beam NG getting DAEs, pretty much all you're limited to is that base color. You can put a material in there. You can adjust how much metallic, how much roughness, how much alpha it's got. But if you try to plug in new maps like this, where you say input texture, damn it, that ain't it. Texture, image texture, and then you add a vector normal map, and then you pick a normal map. I just throw that in there. And then you connect the color to the color, and you connect the normal to the normal. You see the normal mapping of that on the legs, and you send that to beam. You're not going to see it. There's not going to be nothing there to look at. I put that in the wrong one. There's not going to be nothing to look at. It's not going to be there. Not even a name. It's going to be empty. The slot will be empty. Or any of these others. I didn't do all of them, but I'm sure if that one ain't working, then the others probably likely are not either. Or if I stick this in the roughness, it's not going to send it out as a roughness. Or if I send, it's just, that's just how it is. What you're limited to is basically, as far as I understand it, you got a picture, that color goes to base color, and that's all beam will see. It doesn't read all the other stuff. Now, if you load the DAE in Notepad++, you'll see additionally that that's not the DAE. If you load the DAE in Notepad++, and you start scrolling through it, if it's a big DAE, I wouldn't even recommend it, but you see it's got this stuff in here already. Where this stuff's at? Textures. It's in d:/skater1 times gear1 / base message / For well, that's not even the game, and it's looking for the textures there. But this stuff doesn't get changed. Now, I don't know if you can re-export it and then overwrite what's in here now with the new stuff. I have the same problem. And, this came from Maya. So Maya's different than Belinda. But they do use Maya at the devs. They do use it. I don't know to what extent, but they do use it. It might be why when you import in certain assets from the game made with Maya, you don't see anything. I mean, you got the texture information there, but you don't see nothing but black or silver in the case of like some of the foliage. If you ever get a parsing error, I got a video on how to fix that, by the way. It has to do with the thing that's got texture sampler on it. I don't know exactly why it does it, but I just know how to fix it by bypassing it. So yeah, that's part of the issue. This here we're renaming that. That's not going. That irritates me looking at that because I get it too and I hate it. I'll just do it like this: eyebrow. If I can spell it, eyebrow. I'm just gonna call this male head. This makes it easier to kind of. Now I should probably do it like I did the other. I do get to where I forget what I name things very often. I don't have a good workflow in that regard. I get in a hurry. Me buddy. I like that name, me buddy. And this is going to be TL pants. That's all it's going to be when I rename it. TL pants. God damn it. I always hit too much shit when I'm trying to type and do this at the same time. All right. What was that? Oh, damn it. Was it a JPEG? I think it was. Because the other ones were PNGs. And I was like, you got PNGs and JPEGs. You can convert them to DDS if they're power of 2. You can use a texture cooker if you're brave. I don't like it. I don't use it because it locks up my game when I try to edit those textures. And because I like editing after the fact, and after it gets to the game, it makes that temp file, that cached version of it, and then it doesn't know where the hell it's at or something. I don't know. I don't like it. I never use it. I think it's easy for people to use if they understand it. I got irritated with it very quickly, and I just didn't want to fool with it. So I use GIMP. All right, you got a 2048 by 2048. All these seem to be, except that is not power of 2. That's an odd ass ball resolution. That's going to make some shitty aliasing. Unless they add a DLSS later when that finally gets here. That's going to be bad. Now, I can fix that. That ain't no big deal. That's no problem. But I'm going to just convert them all to DDS. Or do y'all care about that? Y'all may not care about that. I just won't fool with it. It's to make the video longer. But I can do it if you need to know how to do it. I'll do one of them. Since I already got this loaded. Oh, this is the amount of videos I record in a day. You can look at the timestamps on here. So much stuff I did like on the 2nd. starting at the first, but most of this is for the second. I record all that stuff. Look at the times. Make mistakes, start over. Make mistakes, start over. Or there's going to be a tutorial and they didn't become a tutorial. I had presented a thing on this, like an actual graphic. I was going to post it on the channel, and it had like kind of a thing explaining different things, but I ain't going to put it on there. It don't matter how much you do if you don't get none of it right, right? I just record mostly everything I do now, and if it does not um, start off, if it starts off good and then gets a little crappy, I can still work with that, but if I start making too many errors, I'm not editing all that. I'll start over the video. It takes a long time to edit. At 4K, it really takes a long time on it. Well, we're using Blender, it does. I don't have any other program that does video. I just do them all. Hell, that's the zip. I go to the right place. All right, this here is already power of 2. We'll export it as a DDS. It does not seem to have transparencies unless it's using the black and using this as PBR. The black can be a transparency, but it does not seem to have an alpha channel. If it does, it's not using it. No, it don't have it. So we'll export it as DDS. Now, when you export DDS from here, there's 3 formats that the game supports out of here anyway. There's more formats, like there's different compression types. There is another one that it supports, but I don't see the option in here to use it. So we'll export this as DDS. And let me tell you, the reason why you want to use DDS is because they go straight to the GPU for processing. They don't have to first go through a CPU before the GPU gets it. So I can tell you now, if you got a lot of 8K textures, for example, and they're PNGs and they're almost 500 megs, or you got a 16K texture and it's over a gigabyte, and you're sending that through the CPU and trying to decode it before it goes to the GPU, and then you're trying to run with traffic, and then you wonder why your frame rate is crap. If you use DDS, you get a lot better performance than from using these, especially when they're large. I don't know how much of an impact smaller uses, but the PNGs definitely are larger than DDS, and DDS are not as small in most cases as JPEGs. They're about 40% the size of a PNG, if I'm not mistaken. And so when we go to export, you're going to have to pick compression type 1, BC1. That is for any texture that is not a normal map, that is that it does not have transparency or doesn't need it. And then you generate bitmaps. That's where it can redraw it at different sizes with the correct aliasing and stuff. It looks good at all sizes. You want to, bitmaps are your friend. So export, and go to the next one. This one here, that doesn't seem to have any transparencies that I can see. Export as DDS. That'll be BC1 also. I don't see a normal map in here. Now, this isn't a proper normal map, but it does have a filter that you can do generic normal map. If you would like a normal map of that, it basically will, it's more like a, oh, damn, I thought I wasn't recording anymore. I was about to say, man, goodness gosh. That's happened before. When the game loads full screen, for example, and not windowed, it'll kick me out a lot of times. In my video, I'll talk to myself for an hour and realize that Dog it. So you can scale this to be more of an emphasis, but it starts to make it look very rough and noisy. I'll sometimes even go less than 10. I'll do, smaller amount than 10. But the way the normal maps work here is they're red, blue, and green. But when you convert it to a DDS, the game makes the blue channel while the other two are embedded. It'll look yellow, but don't worry, that's right. That is correct for DDS. And also, true grayscale pictures are red when you look at them in Beam in the thumbnails. So that's normal too if you come into that. That's just something else that threw me off. I didn't know what was going on. This time, no. Put a little N or something for normals or type it out. Yeah. This will be BC5. And like I said, there's a BC7, but it's not in here. I don't know what exactly that's for. You can also convert it to grayscale, and you can invert it and use that sometimes as like a roughness or ambient occlusion map, but they're not really roughness and ambient occlusion. It's kind of like the filter I just did. Oh, and you can do this too. Go to enhance and tell it high pass, and what that becomes is in Beam. When you go to your material, that gets plugged into the detail map. But if you're using it as a texture that fits like the other texture, then you need to change that to 1:1, or it's going to tile. Now, detail map's great for details that you want to see that exceed the details that the other part. Like, you got normal mapping, but you can have a detailed map also to add more details that are tiled as like a more detailed texture, and you can have the normals be different than the normals that are in there. You can do a lot with it. In fact, you can have 4 different layers of textures and have every one of them partially transparent, where one thing is shining through one. You can make some really awesome textures. That's one thing this game does do well that I can say it really impressed me, is the texture stuff it's capable of, and especially PBR. It's just confusing at first to learn it. So what you do is you'd convert that. I wouldn't use this setting here. I would change the amount of standard deviation, or whatever that stands for, and just lower it a bit so it's not as intense. However, if you are using this as a detailed map in PBR, you got the option to tell it a percentage of the amount it does. So I'm going to leave it at the default, and I'll export that also and put that as a BC1. I'll just put detail on it. That'll be BC1. And then lastly, the eyeball. But I got to do that I got to adjust that inside of Blender. But first, I'll go ahead and just save it. Export as. I don't see no transparencies, no normal mappings. I just send it over like it is. BC1, generate bitmaps. Now you might be saying, what do you mean by alpha channel? All right, the alpha channel is actually on this one, but you erase, and you see the transparent background. You save that like that. That's the alpha channel. You get that to show up in the game by enabling either alpha clip or picking an opacity map. But the opacity maps for PBR are different than they are for the others. The others, the non-PBR, you can just have your thing transparent in places like that, and then you can pick in here in the advanced, you can pick alpha blend mode, You can pick lerp alpha, but if you use PBR and you want something to be transparent, then what you have to do is include a opacity map. And all that is this opacity map is what is staying and what is going, or anything that you want to be a gradient in between. So if I wanted to do this as an opacity map, for example, and I wanted to only use that center of the eye and everything else be opaque, transparent. And what I do is something like this. I take the eye. You can draw guides if you want, if you need them to be more accurate. But I would just make a circle like this. I'd feather it a little bit so I'd spend more time making it, getting it exactly on there. And I'd feather it a little bit like this. I'd say select feather. Depending on the resolution, this is 2K. I'd probably do like for that maybe 50, maybe less. But what it's going to do is when you can control I to invert the selection and erase, it's going to leave a feathered edge to it. Now, alpha clip does not do feathered. It does not do feathered. If you use this as an alpha clip, with alpha clip, it's going to be all or nothing. It's going to clip it. That's what it means, clip. It's not allowing any transitioning. I believe alpha clip's a lot better on your performance than, say, a gradient transition like that. But you would have to add a background. And I know the guy didn't ask me about this, but I got to make a video out of it. Maybe somebody needs to know this, and if they ask me later, I can point them to this and not have to rewrite it, remake it, re-record it, whatnot. So making that black and just saying flatten image. And then the part that I want to be not invisible, in this case, everything up to that gradient, I would redo the inverting thing and blow out the whites using like exposure or just erase it entirely. Hell, you could do that too. You could just make this white and say delete. That's actually what I was going to do, but I was going to do it a different way. But this works better like that. That would be your opacity map. So you get that gradient between there and there, between it transitioning into nothing, and you would also only draw this. We'll save it just to show you. Oh, I got to change the scaling. That's not going to work. That resolution. Power of 2, just so you know, is I got it right here. If I can remember, I'll include this with the video and a link. This is power of 2 resolutions. Any of those times any of those in any combination. 64 times 248. 512 by 512. 16384 by 1024. Those are all power of 2, for example. And then here's the compression things here. Kind of give you a little better idea in Blender or in GIMP. Like, see, that's got transparency BC3. That's not a normal map, and it's just plain texture. That's BC1. And then normal mapping, which is what it looks like as a DDS is yellow, because the game will add the blue channel, BC5. And all of them generate mip maps. That's it pretty much. That's all there is to it. Nothing more than that. Let's go back, change that, and export it, and we'll be on our way. Now, here's the thing the guy's not going to like to hear. And I hate it, but it's just the way it is. You cannot have an animated DAE as a flex body for a jbeam. So to have it load as a jbeam, he's not going to animate. You can, however, animate a texture, just not the mesh, because it's using an armature, and the game uses the node and beams for the mass. What they call it, mass something. I forgot what their wording is for the way the physics work. He's not going to work with that. That's what I'm saying. He's not going to animate anymore. So that is something to keep in mind. That might be a immediate, nope, not going to do it then. But if you follow what I'm saying, you won't have any problems with the textures. If you can make it through this video, I'd probably be struggling about right now. But like I said, I don't charge anything for any of this stuff. You get it for free, The only thing I get out of it, if you watch the video, I get maybe a penny, or not a penny, maybe 0.01 of a penny. If about 10,000 people watch it, I might get $1. I get my money back from YouTube, but it's not much money. I'm thinking about doing a paid, not paid, what do you call it? Yeah, it is paid, but like a $2 a month membership thing. But I've been debating on that because I don't really know any content I can provide extra than what's already on the channel. I don't have time to do anything extra. But someone told me it's not about that. It's about people wanting to support the channel. They can throw you in a couple dollars each month just to help with, in general, what you're doing. People can do those super thanks too. The thanks where they super thanks. Those things they don't give me all that though. They give me like 70% of it, and they keep 30%. Thanks, what it is. I've gotten I think 2 of those since I started the channel. One guy he does motion chair stuff, and the other guy just recently was interested in a mod. I can't remember his name. I don't remember either name. I'm bad with names, so. But I definitely appreciated it. But a lot of people don't really probably know much about it. All right, I gotta figure out what was I doing. Oh, changing that resolution. I got damn sidetracked again. I do it to myself is what I do. I get myself confused. But that's also got to be the same resolution. Let me save that one first and then back up and do that so I don't mess up the thing. Or better yet, do it like this. Man, that's a high resolution for that little bitty texture. That my ball should be. It could be a lot more detailed than that. Eyes are something I like to make when I draw in real life, like real drawings and stuff. I've always liked doing eyes. I've always just been fascinated with them. I could clean that up a little bit too, if you wanted me to. It's got that weird looking kind of shadow. It looks like a drop shadow is what it almost looks like. But yeah, I could clean that up if you needed that done. I'm just going to overwrite the one that's there with that one that I've already did. It didn't do it. What? I lost that shit. God damn it. All right, it's all right. I'll redo it. I should have scaled it before I did the cutting of that. It is. Man, it can be tricky making eyes, and believe it or not, eyes ain't like always look. They don't always look perfectly round either. Depending on the angle, depending on several things, it can be off. That part looks pretty centered. That looks like it's pretty good. I'm not gonna feather it nearly as much. I don't think it needed to be 50 to 25. Since this is going to be transparency, then the background's white now, I can just erase and flatten the image and then invert it and erase with a black background and make it black. We're done. Export as. I'll put an opacity in here. Now, even though this is opacity, and I said about transparencies, it's still not using an alpha channel. It's still using, in this case, black as the uh, catalyst, or whatever you call it, that activates the uh, transparency for PBR. I know it's probably a lot of stuff if you ain't done all this stuff, but you may get to it one day and say, you know, that dumbass feller over there, that channel, he once said something about that. Let me go see what he said. So yeah, it'll be here for you when you're ready for it. So back to here. We got our materials exported correctly. We can load them in the blender. We probably can add them here, but I just want to do it so it's a little easier for you. So you got less chance of making an error. So starting with the pants, let's change that. What was the material called for that? We're going. I was gonna name them the same, but you know what? I'll just call it pants bottom or something. I always use lowercase for my names of my textures because this is case sensitive, and I would forget all the time what I capitalized and what I didn't. So when I started this, I just made the habit of making all of it lowercase. Unless it's something I'm editing and it's uppercase, I leave it. And I'm going to reload that here with the one that we just saved, the DDS one. That way, when it gets to the game, the DDAE is looking for the right names and the right stuff. But I'm only doing the base texture here. I'll just have to check the others. But it's only, like I said, it's only going to send the base texture over. Unless, yeah, it'll send the base texture over, but not the others, like the normal mapping and all that. I got myself confused for a minute. I'm gonna make a new folder. That way it makes it new. It makes it new. What are we gonna call it? FBI dude. I don't know what it looks like. FBI dude. And in there, I'll name this similarly to this pant bottom .dds. Wait a minute. No, I don't do that. I open the damn image. Yeah, I'm that bad. I'm that bad when it comes to getting confused when I'm trying to talk. And you have to talk to do a tutorial most of the time. So, you think after 4 years I'd get better at it. Maybe if it's all I did. See, this is that damn ADD messing with me is what it is. Oh. Hold on. I don't want to risk anything, so I'm going to take the textures we saved and move them to that new folder. I know it's supposed to copy them over, you know, but I don't want to. I want it to be right. I'm just going to take them and put them over there myself. Then I know they're there. Leave the PNGs here and take the DDSs with me. Then load them into Blender. That ain't right. Did it have a texture on it? Didn't damn pay attention. Was there one actually on it? Was it a solid color? That should be the bottom. That's the pants. I didn't change the UV mapping at all. And I had to play this video back to see what the hell was on there because I don't remember. I wasn't even paying attention. I thought it was a solid color like that. I could have been wrong. I think it was looking for something somewhere else though, which that somewhere else I don't have, so I don't know how it would have loaded in there if it did load. So I don't know. It's not FBI. I just that's just a name that I can remember. The hood was white, I know that. So there's nothing for that anyway. Or I don't have it if it is one. Just a head. It was like, yeah. See, I think the UV's got screwed up. I think this is right, but the UV's got screwed somewhere along the ways. But I can't be sure. See, like that's that. All these that make the sweater, which probably could separate all this into separate pieces, separate selections, and re-unwrap them. But then the texture is not going to line up. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get it to line up now because that is not going to match whatever it is doing now. A lot of people just don't bother with the sides and just tell it to do a front project. So the UVs are always like probably easier to select it all than unselect what I don't want. Because they're always well, I don't know. I done damn got lost now. Yeah, yeah, my memory's like that, man. I can't do this very well and talk. I fly through this stuff, man, most of the time. I'll say most of the time, not all the time. When I'm just not recording anything and I don't even have a timeline or anything to get something done, I'm just working. It's like that's when I work my best. When I don't say nothing. I think the model itself could probably use some work. You got stuff going through stuff. It's not the cleanest. It's not the cleanest um, model. Not the best topography, I should say. Not knock on the artwork. It could improve, is all I'm saying, and it will with time. As you do more stuff, you'll improve. My topography is not good. It's an artwork, man, to get that stuff looking good, or it's a lot of smarts and you paying attention to how to do it. I'm not that smart, so I just basically do what I see and um, hope it works. Good. Let's say like that is that you don't really want that when that's like that. And it is a pain in the ass, in my opinion, to cut stuff up in Blender and do stuff like that. But uh, Blender's free. That's the only reason I'm using it. I used to, well, that ain't the only reason. I would use it now if I had to pick, but I started off with 3D Studio, and I did not. I didn't like the way it handled the DAEs. In fact, the developer said that it had an error in it in the programming for whatever year it was. I tried it. It said that the thing does not export correctly the DAE information for Beam. So you get errors in Beam with whatever you export. That's why with my first introduction to this, nothing worked right because I was trying to make things with 3D Studio. I love 3D Studio though for some of the stuff. I love the water, and I love the TyFlow add-on they got for it that does the physics for like things that break and whatnot. So very impressive. Look up Tyflow, Ty space or Ty hyphen or whatever that damn thing is. Flow, FLOW, and look up crash, like not crash, destruction. And you'll see some really impressive stuff, man. That's well beyond the physics of beam. Because it's a 3D render. Of course, it's going to be better. But yeah, man, that shit's amazing. But I emailed those folks. I said, hey, by chance, you can put this in Blender? Nope, only 3D Studio. For a while, you could get a student copy of 3D Studio, as a student version of it. It was fully unlocked. There was one limitation. I don't remember exactly what it was, but for the most part, it was completely unlocked. And they gave it away for free for teachers or students. So I told them I was enrolled in Savannah State College, and this is my school, and I got a key, and I downloaded it, and I used it for about 2 years, and got the next one that came out the next year, and then I didn't use it a lot. I just farted around in it, really. But the next year when I went to renew it, they said, we need to get more information from you regarding your school. I'm like, sure, what you need? And I never called them again, never emailed them again after that. And of course, that they canceled my extended evaluation copy that I had. Now, it wasn't like a bootleg or nothing. I got it legitimately. I had planned to go to college, is what I told them, because I did it one time in my life. And that was where I was going to enroll if I could go. So it wasn't completely a lie. And hell, they give it away to all the students. I'm basically a teacher, just not in a school that's accredited. So, and I emailed, and I even told them that in the email, like as a different person. I'm like, hey, can I get this as a? And they didn't ever respond. It's all right with me. And see, I don't get bootleg stuff. I used to years ago, like when I had a Commodore 64. I'd download stuff for it on my 300 baud modem while I went to school. Come home only to find out the damn phone line rang and it knocked me off. Or someone in the house, better yet, someone in the house picked up the damn phone. And that thing did not have any error correction stuff, whatnot. You messed up the download, you had to start over. And it took all day to download 640K or so. All day at 300 baud. In comparison, gig speed now is 1 billion baud if you are an old modem user like me. See, back before we didn't have internet, we had BBS. You called another computer. Depending on how many phone lines they had, would depend on if you got in or not. And a lot of them had these ratios where you could only get download credits if you had enough upload credits. So I was a dirty bastard. I would take stuff that people had already made and rename it and upload it to get credits. Because I am nothing damn upload nobody when you're starting out. But back then they had stuff like couriers where you could be given an infinite amount of time to download stuff, because you did have time limits too, with the promise that you're taking that downloaded game and taking it to another BBS for them, uploading it to them. You're basically doing their dirty work, riding dirty for them, carrying that thing to another site, so that you also get it, of course, as part of the deal, but you had to pay a lot of damn money in phone bills, because it take that damn all day to upload to like the state of Louisiana, for example. I did it one time with Strike Commander, the game Strike Commander, the old game. I did it, and I was happy to get that damn game. But what sucked is they had written in the game code that any bootleg copy, you couldn't play it. As soon as you took off, the co-pilot shot you out of the sky. There's no way around it. It's just something they threw in there. And me being the dumbass I called tech support and said, hey man, I can't get this damn game to work. And they were like, well, we want to help you, sir. Let me get you your information and stuff. Can you tell me where you got the game? Because the game's not released yet. It doesn't come out for another 2 months. Click. I wasn't very smart, I guess. But that was before caller ID and all that stuff. You could do stuff like that, and it would make a difference. I still have taken a chance. I did download some stuff for the PC, with the torrent stuff, but as I got older, I realized, I don't feel right doing that stuff anymore. If I can't afford it, then I don't need it. That's the way I look at it. If I can't justify buying it because I need it for work, I don't really need it. It's just a toy. But I know I could get half the stuff to make this process a lot faster. I could get Photoshop. I'd love that, especially with the new AI stuff. We're going to unwrap that, UV unwrap. And you see, I got other stuff in there too I don't want, but it's all right. We ain't going to worry about that. We're going to scale this down. Oh, yeah, you got to tell it texture. Show me the texture. Hold Z down and press that, and you'll see the textured view. And you can turn the balls off if you want to see better what you're doing. And I'm not doing this whole thing. I'm not doing it. I just don't got time. But I'll get you going. I may do it. I may get off the phone and still work on it. Because, wait a minute. God damn it, folks. I got to be the dumbest bastard. That's a hoodie, ain't it? A skin-coated hoodie. This one was a solid color. Do you want a texture for a hoodie? Man, that's kind of cool though. It looks like this ugly creature or something. You can also, by the way, you can select all in object mode, the whole thing. You want your balls on to see that though, to make sure you're getting what you're getting, and then you go to edit mode and you tell it UV project from view, for example, and it'll basically perfectly unwrap what you got selected as a front view, perfect front view. But the problem is if you go to the side, it'll stretch. And if you do the whole thing and you do that, then the back will be the front also. So the back and the front will share the same space. So you couldn't have a back and a front without having to redo the back and move it to another area. So you got that option. But this is a carefully planned out jigsaw puzzle that I don't want to unwrap. Even the hands, I don't want to have to do that. I would suggest a guy re-export this from wherever it got exported to as an OBJ. Send it to me. I'll redo this video. And I'll do it quicker. This is taking a shitload of time for me to explain this. And it doesn't take that long to do. So what do I do from here? Well, let's see about separating it. Send him back naked if it separated that. No, he don't have anything under there. No body at all. Just inside of a sweater, a hoodie. Yeah, 24 frames a second. You can do 60, 120. You don't have to do 24 if you want to be more fluid. Doing, I don't know, it's like probably 250 frames. Yeah, he just did whatever the default was. But when he's in his T pose, you know what I'd do, honestly? I'd just get another model. Does the head do right when you texture it? Let's see. I can probably get something in place of that. But the problem is animated. You have to redo the weights for the weight map for the what can bend, what don't bend. Sometimes it does it if you get the armature really well. It'll do it all in one swift swoop. But other times you got to manually paint if it don't do right. They'll say one or more of your things is wrong. The heat map is wrong, and then it throws it all off. See, I didn't change these images at all as far as the where they're at in 3D space, any of that. They're exactly as they were. But that's what the email was about. It was about the textures. I just got into this tutorial thinking it would be just a quick, but we got issues here, folks, with these UVs, and that ain't gonna work. It'll work, but it ain't gonna look right unless you just do. Probably, I just you recommend solid colors. Let's get the head on here. If the head looks right, then we'll make the rest of it solid shaded stuff. That ain't a problem. You can do that easy. You don't have to have UVs for that. So let's do it that way. I'll send it back to them like it is. Just explain, like, man, watch the video, it'll explain it. It's taken me a while to explain it with the error we got. I really don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you, not in a way that makes sense. If you don't understand most of it, it's just going to not make no sense at all. What's going on with that? Wait a minute. Pick the head. Add texture. So I didn't see that over there. I probably ain't paying attention close enough. I'm probably overlooking something. That's great. That works fine. Let's put his eyeballs on there. So the eyeballs got UV mapping too, but let's get the texture on there first. I'm just going to call it. Oh, yeah, there we go. I know he's not an FBI agent, but kind of what it looks like, except the goatee. They wouldn't allow them that. They have to shave that clean. I'm sure of it. Unless they're undercover or some shit, they all look clean cut to me. And you see them in the movies. Oh man, that's great. It worked right away. If you are animating it though, since you are animating it, why not move the eyes too? Or do you want them to have that dead stare off into infinity? 1,000-mile stare. Normally eyes, the part of the iris doesn't go all the way down into the bottom fold of the eye unless the eye's swollen or you're looking down. They're somewhat kind of large for that. So if you go in the UVs, you can adjust all that. You got to pick the eyeball, of course, and go in the UV editor. And while in UV editor, have your ball selected and hit A. It'll show you the mapping as it is now with that ball. And then, yeah, note to the edges. Once you run over an edge, it's going to start drawing the other side. Kind of like if you went in Pac-Man and went out one side, come out the other. Well, if you start moving the thing around, it's going to do that. Let me erase that eye. I thought I did that. Why is it black? I'm not thinking straight now at this point. I done had so many damn problems trying to do this that I done got my damn self all behind and whacked out in my head. Everything is all screwed up right now. Give me a minute. Bear with me. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's got 2 UVs. No. No, it don't. Well, that's the goddamn Scooby-Doo mystery to me, folks. I don't know. I can't tell you right now why it does that in there. Oh, the eyes wasn't drawing, for one thing, but why? It's animating, for one thing. And you don't want to be doing this while it's animating. I remember Oh goodness. Put it back to frame 0 of the animation. Start it back at 0 before you do anything. Because that's what happened. It's moving after the fact, or before the fact, but after the fact you're adding the texture to something moving. It's going to move it, kind of like when you bake something, like a physics for, like in here you got some stuff falling down and you bake it as an animation, and then you try to move something in that baked animation. That's basically what's going on now. I see now what's going on with that. Now where's the thing at down here? The little bar thing. I don't know. I think there. Or was it there all along and I didn't pay attention? I don't know. You tell me. At frame 0, do the same thing, and you'll see it's fine. And it's not. Why? I don't know. He's not moving now. But no, it wasn't there. I'm sure of it. No, I don't know. But what I do know, I just delete it and put some more balls in there. Tell it to shade smooth. Only problem with that, though, the balls don't follow that animation. You have to parent them to like the head or something, so that when the head, where the head goes, the eye goes. You can even download real looking eyes from Sketchfab for free that look incredible. Hey, it's Glenn from Walking Dead. And they say them eyes were sunken. That's what that means. They're sunken back in that head. People that, well, I probably shouldn't say that. I'm probably in that category too. Try to be nice. I was gonna say people that don't sleep enough, their eyes sink in their heads, look like they're sinking in their heads, and their black rings around their eyeballs. And but I'm just as bad at not getting enough rest. Till the sphere projection. I didn't do well, did it? I think we're better off with that. But it is a sphere, but it's hard to unwrap those right. They still warp like that. Scale this over here. I'm about to throw that damn phone across the room. I thought I turned all them off. No, I ain't even looking at it. I'm not even looking at it. I'll look at it when I'm done. Hold the eye, hold shift, pick the head. Make sure both UVs are the same name. Both damn things got head for one and UV map for the other. They all have to be the same if you combine them. But we're not combining them. We're just linking them as parents. Just so you know, if you do want to combine them, you're not going to combine. If you combine them with different UV names, they're going to make one a texture, the other's going to go solid color, like that. To do it right, you need to name the same thing for the same UVs. So whatever one of them is, make the other one the same. It doesn't affect anything, but it will keep that from happening. If that's what you end up doing at some point, because you make a solid object if you make it into a jbeam, or multiple objects. But either way, you get where I'm going with that. Now we lost the head. Why do we lose the head? Because it's not applied all transforms. See, the mapping for the eye, the orientation is at the eyeball center. The orientation for his head is down at the 3D cursor where it should be. Your 3D cursor should be at, in view here, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I don't think this matters, but I'd make them all 0 because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to mess anything up, but he's an armature, so if I apply all transforms, it may screw it up. It may not. It may seem to do fine. Oh, that's not the one that was the problem. It was the eye, wasn't it? So pick the eye. I always set origin 3D cursor, apply all transforms, just to be sure. Good, good, good. The eye did not go anywhere. Still with the other. It moved. It's kind of crooked-eyed looking, ain't it? Yeah. All right, let's try this again. You, and you, and you, and you become parented. So if we want that to follow the head, we pick the eye and we pick the head, and we right-click and parent with automatic weights. Eye, hold shift, pick the head. Oh, change the point of origin. Set origin 3D cursor. Now, if you accidentally click off holding shift and right clicking, you'll move your 3D cursor to get it back home where it needs to be for exporting this stuff. Make it 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, like that. And now their home is now there. We should be able to join them all now, unless I skip something. Oh, did I join just now? I didn't mean to do that. I meant to just link them. What did I do? I don't know. But I didn't do it right. Try it again. What did I do wrong? Parent object. That's what it was. Parent object. But the head's the parent, I think. I think I did it backwards. Let's just clear parents. You know what? I'm pretty tired. I'm just gonna quit talking and just see if I can what I can get done here. I feel like at this point I'm beating a dead horse. I think that fella knew good and well what the conditions the same was in. Want me to do his work for him, huh? Nah, I know better than that. It is difficult shit to understand. Yeah, I should be moving with the armature. Because they're linked to that. Where that goes, that should go. I'm gonna fucking dumbass chat GTP because I don't got a goddamn idea. Oh shit, I was what you do with that. I'll just start over on this damn thing.